Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our township meeting. I'll read the statement and we'll rise for a pledge of allegiance. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act pursuant to Public Laws 1975. Said notice was advertised in the Asbury Park Press and the Beacon and was posted on the bulletin board showing the time and place of the meeting. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 1 this evening, proclamation honoring Peter Miles for his contributions to the Lacey Township Youth Athletic Association.
Mr. Miles, would you just stand up, hop, so you can...
Now they know it's me.
We know it's you.
We know. Just stand right there so we can see you.
I'll read a, there we go. I'll read a proclamation, and then each of us will have time to make comment and take pictures. So thank you for the time. Whereas Peter Miles and his family became residents of Lacey Township in 1967 when the township was home to only 5,000 residents, and whereas Peter's deep-rooted love for community and sports, strengthened by his close relationship with his brother-in-law, Terry Stewart, led him to volunteer with the Lacey Township Youth Athletic Association in the early 70s, and whereas upon retirement of then-director Dan Mears around 72 or 73, Peter Miles stepped into the leadership role at the LTYAA and immediately began shaping the future of youth athletics in Lacey Township. And whereas recognizing a gap in opportunity for younger athletes, Peter worked with fellow officers, including his good friend Bill Hebrew, to establish the township's first LTYAA minor league boys baseball, creating space for boys under traditional Little League age to participate, learn, and grow the game of baseball. And whereas, upon receiving a call from a township resident asking if there was an athletic opportunities for girls, Peter again acted decisively, rallying the support for his officers to create the very first LTYAA Girls Softball League, thus ensuring that young women of Lacey also had a place to play, compete, and thrive. And whereas Peter recognized the growing demand for safe and accessible fields for both boys and girls to play, and partnered with then Mayor Jim McNally to secure 2 additional fields behind the current town hall. And whereas as participation in the leagues continued to grow, Peter again took initiative to seek further expansion, working with Mayor McNally to successfully petition the JCP&L for a land donation of approximately 15 acres, which ultimately became known as Clune Park, a centerpiece for youth athletics in Lacey Township to this day. And whereas the work and vision of Peter Miles helped lay the foundation for a thriving, inclusive, and community-driven youth sports program that continues to serve generations of Lacey families, creating lifelong memories and friendships for countless children. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Mayor and Committee of Lacey Township do hereby recognize and honor Peter Miles for his tireless efforts, selfless leadership, and pioneering spirit in the establishment and growth of both the LTYAA Minor League Boys Baseball and the LTYAA Girls Softball League, and extend heartfelt gratitude for the legacy he has left in the hearts and fields of Lacey Township. Congratulations.
No, Bob, don't pick her up. You'll hurt yourself. Hi, honey.
So some comments this evening?
Yo.
And people like you that were on the committee at that time, and the townspeople, and the sponsors, and the umpires, and the coaches, and a lot of luck, you started something that the township needed. and it has led to the 2 other fine parks that you have now. Some of the best that's in Ocean County.
That's right.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
You're the Committeewoman Giuliano.
Thank you, May. I appreciate that. Mr. Miles, Pop, as I know you, it's a proud moment here in Lacey giving this to you because you know what? You well deserve it. It's people like you that helped grow this town the way it is, and we really, really appreciate it. And it's so nice that our new president, well, she's not new, she's been there for years now, too, herself, Christine Rapetti, is here, and she wanted to meet you and talk to you, too. So I'm so glad she could make it, and it's an honor. It really is an honor for all of us. Thank you so much, and your lovely family and friends are all here to support you. It's a great thing, Pop. It really is. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Kennis.
Thank you, Mr. Miles. We just want to thank you for all your, effort and that you put into all these organizations. There's a lot of history in that proclamation and a lot of old names that even I know of. So just really want to thank you for putting the time in and working with our youth. Thank you.
Committeeman Larray.
First, I want to start with, as he was reading the proclamation, it was kind of sending chills through my body because when you, a family that's grown up here in town, and you start listening to many of these names and these fine individuals that, like Peggy Sue said, help develop and make our programs and parks what they are today. And the sad part is many of them aren't with us today. But it made me even go back to playing Little League in the late 60s and early 70s
Don't give
going,
away the
oh.
age.
And you start thinking back and you're like, wow. But with all the youth athletics and everything, if it wasn't for all you people and yourself donating your time, volunteering, I mean, that's one of the things that's given this town the great opportunities it has of having so many programs, so many successful programs. And there's not a proclamation big enough or long enough to thank you for all that you have done for this community. And I also want to thank you for my kids who are both athletes in this town. And they prospered greatly by the efforts of those that worked with you and before you. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
I'll close comment tonight with saying that I've been fortunate enough to be put here by the people. This is my 12th year. And when you're elected, you see a lot of bronze emblems and plaques, and you go to a lot of ribbon cutting ceremonies and things like that. But I never met a man who was responsible for one of our parks. And to think about how many kids have enjoyed a day in the last 55 years, that is kind of makes a little monument or a bronze plaque pale in comparison. I had no idea about that. I'm a little embarrassed that I didn't know. I try to think I know history of our town, but I only came online in 1968, so I apologize for that. But to have, I can't think of a greater, I mean, people move here for our parks, Gilly Park, Hebrew Park. I mean, some of these are the diamonds of our Bayfront Park, Bamber. But to see you, when we throw out the first pitch for Little League this Saturday, rain or shine, we're going to do it. And then we're going to throw out the first pitch for our ladies as well, because we want to do that for both the boys and the girls. But you started a park. That's something, that's some type of legacy. And I would take that before any plaque or any monument or anything else. So God bless you, and it's an honor to meet you. I've never met you, and thank you for being here.
Mayor's
Take a
going to go
quick
down and
picture.
take some pictures? Yes, good.
I do have to say they have deep family roots here in town, though, because both Mr. Miles' daughter and son both taught at our schools and stayed in our community, and she's now retired. So they do have a love for the community, and is always committed to our community. So they've been here a long time.
Thank you.
A long time.
Yeah, long time, yes.
Terry Stewart was his, but that's Nancy Stewart, yep.
The train whistle used to wake me up in the morning, coming out of the power plant every day.
Side over here. Can you get in? Heather, you want to get over here, babe? You're right.
Hey,
Right there,
sweetheart.
baby. Come
Come
in,
on, right
in
here,
front of me.
sweetheart.
Your grandpa is Grandma High's aunt.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Thanks, Jim.
Let's get that over to us for our Facebook page. Yeah.
Thank you, Peggy.
You're welcome,
Send it
sweetheart.
over.
I love
Okay.
you. I love you.
Thank you again in the committee.
Thank you. You guys,
Okay.
man, incredible.
Mr. Mayor, if there's one other person, she's standing up, I want to acknowledge that's in the audience. Nancy, come up here for a minute. As they say, everybody's got a partner in crime, and Terry Stewart was one of the first ones that was mentioned tonight that worked with Peter. Terry's no longer with us. He wasn't only a big part of everything Peter was in, he also at the high school at the same token. And I know the amount of time that you had to give up to support all that your family had devoted for this. And I know there's a lot of family here, but I've seen you in the audience, and it's nice that you came out tonight
That was really nice.
to honor Peter.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I'd offer a polite exit to our guests here with the proclamation.
And they're going to take it.
I will. I will.
Okay, good. All right,
Thanks,
take care, guys. Bye
Thank you.
now. See you later.
Wasn't the shirt a little whiter later?
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. You helped great grandpa. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Pop.
I also survived 25 years of bus driving.
Yes,
Oh,
you did.
yes, he did.
Yes, you did.
You almost matched our dad. 29, 26,
26,
26.
with no sick days, Ann.
I wonder where you get it from.
Wonder where you get that from.
Well, actually, yeah, well,
Okay, item number 2 this evening. Close those doors possibly.
John, can you close those doors for me? Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Committeewoman. Item number 2, tow list removal hearing, Lacey Used Auto, and I will defer to our Township Attorney, Senator Connors.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, the governing body received a request by the Chief of Police to remove Lacey Used Auto Parts from the Lacey Township rotating list of towing contractors in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 309 of the Township Code, which was adopted pursuant to NJSA 4048-2.49. Your Township Code specifically, subsection 309-9, subchapter F, provides that Chief of Police shall also maintain a record of the regular response of records to police calls and any complaints from vehicle owners as to improper service or charges. The Chief of Police may request contractor removal from the rotating list pursuant to subsection G below. Lacey Used Auto Parts is entitled to be heard on this matter in accordance with the provisions of subchapter 309-9G, which provides upon written notice a towing contractor may be removed from the rotating list by resolution of the Township Committee if, after an opportunity to be heard, performance is determined to be unreliable or inadequate or in violation of this chapter or applicable laws of the state of New Jersey. You have in your packet, there are 3 items. As a matter of procedural history, proper notice was provided to the contractor involved by letter dated February 21, 2025. Originally, the hearing was scheduled for March 13, in which case the contractor requested be deferred as his unavailability at that particular time, and it has been moved to this evening. There are 3 dockets in your packet, as I had mentioned. One is a request for removal by Chief Kenny dated March 28, 2025, which I've marked as P1 for identification. A notice of hearing dated February 21, 2025, which I've marked as P2, and a letter from Lacey Used Auto Parts dated March 18, 2025, which I've marked as P3. Now, for the purposes of a hearing, what we'll have is Chief Kenny provide testimony to the Township Committee in support of his letter, which I've noted as P1, and the governing body would have an opportunity to ask any questions of Chief Kenny at that time. Is Mr. Caputo here? Yes. Mr. Caputo, you would have an opportunity to ask questions of Chief Kenny after he speaks to the Township Committee, if you have any questions of any of the information that he's provided to the Township Committee. I would also, if he can come forward, sir, I'll provide you with copies of the letters that I referred to that are in the governing body's packet this evening. Two of which you already have, one you're the author of, and the other was the notice. The other letter is, of course, from Chief Kenny as to the reasons why he's requested removal. After the conclusion of that, Mr. Caputo, you'll have an opportunity to address the governing body to elaborate as to why you feel that a removal should not be sustained by the township governing body, in which case the governing body, if they have any questions, may ask any questions, at the conclusion of which a decision will have to be made by the governing body at that time. Chief Kenny, if you're available to speak before the governing body. I'd only ask that you raise your hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. You're Chief Kenny.
I am Chief Christopher Kenny.
And
West
under the
Township
ordinance, you're required to keep a rotating towing list, is that correct?
That is correct.
And you're the author of a letter dated March 28, which I've identified as P1, is that correct?
That is correct.
So you're familiar, you're the author of that letter?
Yes.
Okay, you may proceed, thank you.
All right. I didn't bring any discovery, only
Do you want
because
this?
I didn't know. Yes,
Please.
So it was brought to our attention over, we're talking in period of 2023, 2024, by our dispatchers. We maintain that rotating tow list, and it's specified in here. By ordinance, we're only allowed to have a certain amount of towing contractors that have to abide by with Chapter 309 of the Township Ordinance. They have to comply with certain rules of that ordinance, maintain at least 2 tow trucks in working order, and they're required to answer the phone when we call. So over that period of 2023, our dispatchers are the ones that receive those phone calls anytime a tow service is needed, where a specific contractor is not requested by the person who needs that tow. So we have a motor vehicle accident in town, and nobody requests a certain tow contractor. We just call the next person on the rotating call list for the towing contractors. So when that happens, they just go in order. Next one up, our dispatchers, our public safety telecommunicators will call the contractor, and as the ordinance says, they should answer the phone. So over the years, 2023, 2024, very sporadic in which they would answer. So if you, in the report, there's, so I'll just read from this.
Sure.
On February 21st, 2025, I submitted a request to your office for the removal of lease used auto from the Lacey Township rotating list of towing contractors. This was in response to repeated violations of Chapter 309 of the Lacey Township Municipal Code over an extensive period of time. Lacey used auto failed to answer the phone approximately 181 times from 2020 through 2024. In that same time, they only accepted the call for service approximately 51 times and refused the call for service 70 times. And we have that documentation that's been attached. That is how we document it. So like I said, in our communication center, they just go down the list, they handwrite it, they designate whether they accept, decline, or not answer. NA on there is not answer. So with that, sometimes they've gotten better over the years. They're a local business. They're one of the local tow companies, so we give them the benefit of the doubt, and then they would drop off again, and that would be brought to our attention over, I guess, a period of, I think in 2024, Lieutenant John McKee reached out to them, and they said they're trying to get the tow trucks up and running, to paraphrase, and then Lieutenant Darrell Nick in 2025, because it was brought to his attention, he took over the tow list. The list of towing contractors. It was brought to his attention. He reached out, and they indicated that they were getting one tow truck up and running at this point. So, pretty much in conclusion, unless there's specific questions, they've been very sporadic over the years in responding and answering our phone calls and actually going out and towing vehicles, which is detrimental to the operation of the police department because time is of the essence. Our dispatchers usually work alone a lot of the times. They don't have time to call somebody who's not going to answer. And then the other part of the ordinance is they're required to have 2 tow trucks. In my understanding, they only have 1. Like I said,
Any questions? Mr. Riddick?
It's pretty well documented, so.
Mr. Caputo, do you have any questions or anything you heard?
Yeah, I did have some family issues with 2 deaths, and
You got to
Well,
come
I'm
up to
gonna
the
ask-
microphone.
Yeah.
I-
I know that I'm going to be as informal as possible. This is an opportunity to ask questions of Chief Kennedy with regard to the information he's provided to the governing body. You will have an opportunity to state whatever you want to the governing body to make your case. Okay, so if there's something that Chief Kennedy said that you feel is not correct, or you think needs to be embellished, you can ask him those questions at this time.
Kenny, yes, the one call from the dispatchers to one of my tow personnel.
okay.
But did move on, and he was still getting the calls, and I did give him a different phone number to contact someone else. And he did call me a couple times saying that he was still getting calls.
So what I can say is the way it comes into our dispatch, that's the way we document it. So whether, we get a no answer, or if it's a decline, we just write no, not accepted. But as far as I'd have to bring each dispatcher in and ask them,
Yeah, I
on
don't
this
wanna do
date,
that.
was it a no answer, or
They're going to recall that. Right.
unless the phone number was mixed up, I can't attest to that. If they were provided with a different phone number, I cannot attest to that.
Okay.
Mr. Caputo, can you remain standing there for a minute?
Yes.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions of the chief?
I actually just got one here because I've seen a couple dates. How long have they been running with just one truck?
2 years, and I just purchased another truck 2 months ago.
So you've been running 2 years, basically, not, the past 2
I-
years you weren't able to fulfill the requirements in this
Yes.
because you're down a truck.
I was down a truck. I asked to be taken off for that time period last year.
And was he off it then?
Yeah, as documented in the sheets, it was taken off for a period of time. And then brought back up, and, in their
Right.
defense, they did answer some calls, but it's just the inconsistency is the difficult part. The rotating call list, the tow list, I should say, I apologize, the rotating tow list, you're limited in the amount of contractors you have, so it's unfair to anybody else who wants to get onto that tow list, which is the reason.
I have a question if I could.
Yes.
So you had documented 49 times in 2024 that this company was unavailable. So what was the endpoint communication from Mr. Caputo back to our police dispatchers? Was there communication as to why?
I believe it was, I'm sorry.
Don't say anything yet, Mr. Caputo. Go ahead, Chief Kennedy.
It's not something at the management end that, we're monitoring constantly. We rely on the dispatchers to take those phone calls. They're the ones who are making, the contact to the contractors. Lease Used Auto, has been on the tow list since pretty much I've been a police officer, so we give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure the dispatchers did that. They waited, it was crossed off until they received a phone call. We don't have a protocol in place where they come to us and say, hey, just so you know, Lease Used Auto is now back, on the
Right.
tow list.
Right.
We truly leave it up to them. We're not monitoring it, each and every day. It's just brought to our attention. So we did, at the management level, we didn't take the phone call, but it would be at the communications level, yes.
Mike, I understand the equipment issue.
Can you refrain from asking Mr. Caputo questions at this point?
Just
Oh,
the
we'll have-
chief, just
oh,
the
just the
chief
chief.
right now.
Just the chief.
Okay. No, I don't have one for you.
He doesn't have anything for you.
No other questions? Okay. Thanks, Chief. Just hang there for a minute if I could. Mr. Caputo, you swear testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Caputo, you heard the testimony of the chief. I provided you a document with regard to the chief's record keeping in the police department. Is there anything you wish to provide to the governing body?
Yes, I did serve for over 35 years. We did have an issue in the past year and a half. I believe most of it was after hours, and I have rectified that, bought another tow truck, and I would like the chance to be reinstated.
Okay, during the time that, I'm going to ask you a few questions. During the time that you always had two tow trucks, but they were just not operable, is that
One
correct?
wasn't.
During the time that you had two tow trucks, what would explain the reason why you had so many non-answers?
I can say that most of it was after hours. And
But you're required to provide an answer
The man I had
24/7.
after hours had left, and that's where a little bit.
So it
of
was not only the equipment, but the personnel as well?
Yes.
Okay, so your testimony to the governing body is that you acquired another tow truck, you have two operating tow trucks, but what about the personnel that's involved?
Personnel man.
And you had the personnel. And when did you acquire the appropriate amount of personnel?
6 months ago.
Okay. Anybody have any?
Well, thank you, because you asked my question, so
Okay.
that was good.
6 months ago, we would have been into 2024, and that's when there was, 2024, there was 49 unavailable.
I didn't have the equipment at that time.
Right, he had the personnel, but
I didn't have the two wreckers. I had one, and one was being fixed.
Well,
And then I just purchased one.
But the biggest thing I see now, you got the equipment, which is great.
I got the equipment.
The one thing, as we all know, when it comes to police towing accidents, anything else like that, there is an urgency on it.
Correct.
And not after hours being a problem, because people don't decide to have accidents from 8 to
Anytime.
5, and then afterwards, the roads are safe and everybody drives properly. But what is your answer to this board on how you fixed so you have 24/7 availability to answer calls?
The person I hired lives in town.
But he can't take the truck home and put it at his house,
I know.
okay?
Yes.
We'll run into that other problem.
we have that endlessly.
We'll run into the other problem.
I know that.
All right, just so you know that.
Yes.
And he's got the help now and the truck now, I guess.
So
is
now you
what
got
he's
the help
telling us.
and you got the truck.
help, I got the truck. Trucks.
Any other ideas?
Any other questions of Mr. Caputo?
How many other companies do we have?
5? I think this is 6, right? Because I think our ordinance limits it to 6, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Is there a call tree as to who gets first at bite at the apple?
It's a rotating list.
Do you have many applicants for the, like,
We might have one additional, possibly. Possibly. I'm not sure if there's anybody in mind right now.
Well, how long have you been dealing with Lacey Township, Mr. Caputo? How long?
1985.
Yeah.
And
I was in Bamber Lake for 10 years, and now I'm on Route 9 next to Walmart
Right.
for 32 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chief, how many years has this been an issue that you're aware of?
I believe only about 2 years.
Okay.
You know, and like I said, it's not that they never respond, it's just been very sporadic. I believe it was the after hours as well. But, you know, not answering the phone is a problem.
That's what I think. Can I make a suggestion? Am I allowed to do that?
Sure.
Okay, my suggestion would be is that we keep him on the list, give him to the rest of the year, and monitor how things go, and then make a decision. I don't know how that works for the chief.
Well, I would there's one or two ways that I think might be appropriate. One is to sustain the request of Chief Kennedy to remove him from the tow list and make him reapply.
Okay.
In which case, that in accordance with the ordinance, he would have to provide all the new information with regard to the new vehicle, as well as anyone else, personnel that you have. And the chief can review all of that to determine whether he qualifies under the ordinance. If that's the case, then we would do a resolution putting him on the list, in which case the governing body can monitor it at that point.
Right.
I think if he, as you suggested, but I think there's new equipment involved that they has to provide all of the relevant information and so forth, and I didn't know whether there are any attached fees and so forth that are involved. So,
That's reasonable.
do you understand, Mr. Caputo, what I said? That you will be removed from the list this evening as they pass a resolution to do so, but you can reapply. And you would reapply having your new equipments and have that reviewed by the chief to make sure it's compatible with the requirements of the ordinance.
And both these.
Do we, excuse me, I just want to ask the attorney a question. Does it have to be done that way?
It doesn't have to be done that way.
Okay.
I'm just suggesting that way because there may be information that you're saying, don't remove him, perhaps.
Right.
Leave him on a list, but maybe his equipment doesn't qualify, maybe. And I don't know whether the chief has had an opportunity to do that. Now, you can defer judgment, having had the hearing, to another meeting, but I don't want to make it more difficult. But I
Right,
just
right.
want to make sure that we're not here again,
Right.
Do an inspection.
doing this again, I don't think anybody does.
It's reasonable for the reapplication to make sure that the chief is satisfied not only with the plan for calls being answered, but that he can put his eyes on the equipment, and it's a safety issue involved. I mean, not that you are not a safe operator, and we know you have a long reputation in our town, but this is reasonable, and then you can reapply, and we'll review it. Stephen?
I would tend to agree with that. That seems reasonable.
I agree with that.
Committee vote?
Yes, that's fine.
And
But with-
we're going to review it. I mean, we're not looking to exclude anybody. We just
No.
need to know
Give
that the
you the
chief has his eyes on it. That's the advice of counsel, and I think it's reasonable.
And I know how hard it is for the chief or anybody else to come up before us or even approach a longtime business person. With this to start with, it's not easy to do because the chief, like some of us, has been here forever. We don't only know persons as a business, but also as a person. So I think this is a real reasonable way to handle this one.
Okay, so,
And as long as the chief's comfortable with it, too.
just,
Absolutely. Yes.
just to go back over what exactly we're doing, so I'm clear. So,
Well, the ordinance provides that, if after a hearing you wish to remove him from the list, it has to be done by resolution of the governing body.
okay.
We would do that this evening, removing from the list, but he's entitled to reapply. He would reapply with all of the new information regarding his equipment and personnel to the satisfaction of the chief, in which case then he would be put back on the tow list.
Are we in the process of applications right now, right, with everybody? Yes, I thought right?
Because of the change.
The renewal, we're in the renewal process
We're
right
in
now.
the
Okay.
renewal process right
Okay.
now, so.
But I just wanna-
Okay, motion?
So he
then?
doesn't miss any, you're not missing anything by
But I have to
a
reapply.
cycle.
Just like
You have
all
to
the other
reapply,
stuff.
but reapply now,
Because all the other ones have to reapply.
They're in the
at this
same
rate.
process of
Everybody's
reapplying.
reapplying. okay?
Okay, motion, please, then? to-
We'll have a resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, removing Lacey Used Auto Parts from the Lacey Township rotating list of towing contractors in accordance with Chapter 309 of the Township Code of the Township of Lacey entitled Towing and Storage.
Move it.
Second?
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes.
Then reapply.
Thank you,
Mr.
Caputo.
Caputo.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Anything else? Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Move it.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Township of Lacey Township Meeting, April 10th, 2025. I'll read the statement, we'll salute the flag, and have a moment of silence. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Pursuant to public laws in 1975, said notice was advertised in the Asbury Park Press and the Beacon and was posted on the bulletin board showing the time and place of the meeting. We'll salute the flag and have a moment of silence.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number one, first reading of ordinance 2025-08, amending Chapter 261 entitled Parks.
An ordinance of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 261 of the Township Code of the Township of Lacey entitled Parks. The changes that are being made here is a slight increase in the recreation camp fee from $175 to $200. That's just to keep up with minimum wage increases.
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number two, second reading of ordinance 2025-06, vacating a portion of Plumstead Avenue.
Ordinance in the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, vacating all of the right, title, and interest of the Township of Lacey in a portion of Plumstead Avenue. This is to the adjoining property owner of 720 Lacey Road. And its second reading, open the floor for public comment.
Seeing none, motion to close the floor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion on the ordinance?
Move. Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number three, resolution 2025-133, supporting S 3964 and A 5103 in support of the Smaller Modular Energy Incentive Act.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, supporting Senate Bill S 3964 and Assembly Bill A 5103 in support of the Small Modular Energy Incentive Act. This is to promote the use of small modular nuclear reactors. This was introduced in the Senate by Senator Amato and in the Assembly by Assemblyman Rumpf and Meyer.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number four, resolution 2025-134, authorizing a memorandum of understanding with the state of New Jersey for dredging and material placement.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding with the State of New Jersey for dredging and material placement. This is for the South Creek dredging site.
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number five, resolution 2025-135, awarding a contract to provide health reimbursement account services.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, awarding a contract to ED Employee Solutions LLC DBA as the difference card to provide health reimbursement account services for the Township of Lacey Employee Benefits Program. This type of plan that employees would switch to for this type of service would be a benefit to the town as it would decrease the township's spending on health
Move it.
insurance.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Larray?
Yes, and for those that are interested in this, the county has also gone to this because the hope is through the years, a lot of people sign on for it because it definitely helps bring the cost of health care to the resident, to the township employees down.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number six, resolution 2025-136, awarding a contract for purchase of a vehicle for the police department, a Jeep.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, awarding a contract for the purchase of a 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee to Kurt Rich Fleet Services. This is in the amount of $42,097.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number six, resolution 137, awarding a contract for the purchase of vehicles for the police department, Ford.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, awarding a contract for two 2025 Ford Utility Interceptor vehicles to Winter Ford of Cherry Hill. This is for two vehicles for the police department. Total cost is $89,534. I should mention the resolution that was just read and the next couple are all resolutions for purchasing under our approved capital budget and bond ordinance.
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 8, Resolution 2025-138, awarding a contract for the purchase of computer equipment for police vehicles.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, awarding a contract to Dell Technologies for computer equipment for the police department. This is computer equipment for the 2 new patrol vehicles that we will be purchasing, and this is in the amount of $5,773.10.
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 9, Resolution 2025-139, awarding a contract for the purchase of antenna radar systems for police vehicles.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, awarding a contract to Stalker Radar in care of Applied Concepts Incorporated for 2 DSR-1 antenna radar systems. This is again for those 2 new vehicles, and this is in the amount of $4,428.
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 10, Resolution 2025-140, awarding a contract for the purchase of e-ticket printers for police vehicles.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, awarding a contract to Motorola Solutions Incorporated in care of wireless communications and electronics for the purchase of e-ticket printers and readers for the new police vehicles. This is in the amount of $4,073.30.
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 11, Resolution 2025-141, awarding a contract for the purchase of mobile radios for the police department.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, awarding a contract to Motorola Solutions Incorporated in care of wireless communications and electronics for mobile radios for the police department. This is in the amount of $19,410.21.
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 12, Resolution 2025-142, awarding a contract for the purchase of portable radios for the police department.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, awarding a contract to Motorola Solutions Incorporated in care of wireless communications and electronics for portable radios for the police department. This is in the amount of $20,388.20.
Move it.
Second, please.
Sorry, second.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 13, Resolution 2025-143, awarding a contract for the purchase of a new computer server for the police department.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, awarding a contract for the purchase of a new computer server for the police department. This is in the amount of $153,323.49.
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 14, Resolution 2025-144, awarding contract for the purchase and installation of overhead garage doors for the Lenoka Harbor Volunteer Fire Company Firehouse.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, awarding a contract to New Jersey Overhead Door LLC for the purchase and installation of garage doors at the Lenoka Harbor Volunteer Fire Company. This is in the amount of $71,044.50.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 15, Resolution 2025-145, awarding contract for an ambulance remounting service.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, awarding a contract to VCI Emergency Vehicle Specialists to provide one 2017 ambulance remount for the Lenoka Harbor Emergency Medical Services. This is in the amount of $199,255.03.
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Number 16, Resolution 2025-146, awarding a contract for ambulance remounting services for the Lacey Emergency Medical Service.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, awarding a contract to VCI Emergency Vehicle Specialists to provide one 2017 ambulance remount for the Lacey Emergency Medical Services. This is in the amount of $156,949.29.
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 17, Resolution 2025-147, awarding a contract for the purchase of a vehicle for the Department of Community Development.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, awarding a contract for the purchase of one 2025 Ford Explorer Active. This is for the inspectors in the Department of Community Development, and this is in the amount of $43,717.
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Larray?
Yes, and I wanted to say it before, all these vehicles, when people have questions about it, you have to go out to bid to people that hold the state contract for these vehicles. So it's pretty limited to where we get our prices from, but it's not like you just shop around. They got to have a state contract. Yes.
Thank you. Mayor Kurtolo.
Yes. Item number 18, Resolution 2025-148, awarding a contract for the purchase and installation of security cameras for Lacey Township facilities.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, awarding a contract for the purchase and installation of security cameras to Gridless Power and authorized vendor of Carasoft for the Lacey Township facilities. This would include cameras in the municipal building, police department, at the Whibbit, the Department of Community Development, the Recreation Building, and the Community Center, and this is in the amount of $142,731.48.
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 19, Resolution 2025-149, awarding a contract for roofing services for the Bamber Lake Firehouse Building.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, awarding a contract to L.R. Watts & Son Roofing and Construction Incorporated for roof renovations for the Bamber Lake Firehouse Building. This is in the amount of $33,550.
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 20, Resolution 2025-150, awarding a contract for the purchase of an asphalt roller.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, awarding a contract to Cherry Valley Tractor Sales for the purchase of an asphalt roller. This is in the amount of $38,425.20.
Move it. Second.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 21, Resolution 2025-151, awarding contract for the purchase of a surf rake.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, awarding a contract to H. Barber & Sons Incorporated for one surf rake 400 HD under the HGAC contract for the Department of Public Works. This is in the amount of $60,568.
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 22, Resolution 2025-152, awarding a contract for the purchase of a Ford F-550.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, awarding a contract for the purchase of one 2025 or newer Ford F-550 regular cab with steel dump body and snowplow system, United Ford. This is in the amount of $116,573.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 23, Resolution 2025-153, awarding a contract for the purchase of a Graco line stripper.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, awarding a contract to Sherwin-Williams for the purchase of a line striper machine for the Department of Public Works. This is in the amount of $9,399.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 24, Resolution 2025-154, awarding a contract for the purchase of Turo landscaping equipment.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, awarding a contract to Turf Equipment and Supply Company for the purchase of one Toro Workman GTX utility vehicle and two Toro Grandmaster 7,200 lawnmowers. This is in the amount of $75,232.75.
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 25, Resolution 2025-155, authorizing the release of performance guarantee for Lacey Christian Assembly.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the release of a performance bond posted for Block 2600, Lot 1501 by Lacey Christian Assembly. They've decided to not move on with this project, and they've had this bond for quite some time, so they're asking for it to be released.
Move it.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 26, Resolution 2025-156, authorizing the refund of deposit monies.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the refund of deposits held for the use of municipal facilities.
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 27, Resolution 2025-157, authorizing the payment of township bills.
Resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the payment of township bills. This is in the amount of $6,858,643.36.
Move it.
Second.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes. Item number 28, monthly reports.
All righty. Amy, you can take a sip of water now. The municipal clerk's office for the month of March collected receipts in the amount of $9,631.46. Municipal court for the month of February collected receipts in the amount of $18,685.98. For the month of March, road opening permits were collected in the amount of $1,620, recycling commodity in the amount of $1,889, truck parking in the amount of $10,000. And for the municipal docks, we've collected receipts so far in the amount of $64,805. Motion to accept the reports is read.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 29, motion to approve caucus meeting minutes from March 27th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 30, motion to approve township meeting minutes from March 27th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 31, motion to approve regular membership in the Forked River Volunteer Fire Company for Chrysler Fortes, Gabriella Beal, and Robert Ackerman Jr.
Move it.
Second, please.
Yes, second. I'm sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
One add-on this evening.
Resolution 2025-159, resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, awarding a contract for the purchase and installation of a new pavilion to Ben Schaefer Recreation Incorporated for Hebrew Park. This project was approved in our bond ordinance, and this is in the amount of $292,614.84.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. Larray?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes, and before I defer to Deputy Mayor for his comments, I want to make a formal announcement. We've also notified all appropriate parties. Instead of May 8th at this time, the Township Committee meeting will be May 7th. So we're changing from the 8th to the 7th at 6 p.m.
Also, the next meeting, April 24th, is at 3 in the afternoon.
And the next meeting, April, will be at 3 in the afternoon. And the date, one more time, is it the
April
23rd?
24th.
24th. Committee comments, please, Deputy Mayor Kennis.
Thank you, Mayor. Last Friday, the mayor and myself walked the culvert, the Parker property, the subdivision. We've had a number of residents at last meeting, asking about the proposed piers. And we just sort of walked out there to just confirm that they were doing what they were supposed to do as in terms of what the planning board approved. And they are. The finger piers that they are proposing is not a township approval. The pier that is being bulkheaded right now is part of their original planning board approval, and that's the pier that the DEP mandates them to have public access. So that's a public access pier that's currently being constructed or under construction that is open to the public. One of the other things that myself and Veronica have been working on for a long time, and I've mentioned it at length at different meetings, is our COA requirements. And myself and Veronica have been working very hard on it to lower our affordable housing number. Not that affordable housing isn't important, it is, it's just that we don't like how they do it at the state level. And Veronica and I have so far been pretty good at getting that number reduced so far. And my last comment will be on this, we've all been paying attention to the school budget. We understand the challenges that they have in their budgeting process. And they have some hard decisions, and I just wish them the best of luck, and hopefully they do the best they can for the taxpayers of Lacey Township. And my final note is, I just would like to wish Veronica Larray a very happy birthday.
Devil.
Belated, it was this past Sunday, so.
Devil.
Those are my comments.
Fantabulous, thank you. Committeewoman Juliana.
Thank you, Mayor. That's so funny, because I was going to put that in there, even though she told us she didn't want to talk about it.
I don't like to talk about it anymore.
And I wasn't aware of it.
Well, just again, wanted to go back over of having Mr. Peter Miles here, just an institution of what this town was about and should still be about. We're very fortunate to have the beautiful parks we have in this town, and the people that set the roads for those parks, meaning they put it out there, they hardworking parents, and they did the job to make sure our children in this town have always had a place to go, play their sports, have their activities. Gilly Park is packed all the time with kids. Clune Park is always packed with some kind of sports going on. We're very, very fortunate. We should always be grateful for the wonderful things that we do have here in Lacey Township. We had 38 calls this month for both of our fire companies. And just on a note about talking about the roof that's being put on Bamber out there, in case anybody has a question about it, that is our building, so it needed to be replaced. It has not been done, so that's what we're doing on the firehouse out in Bamber to keep up with making sure it's ready, willing, and able to go whenever our gentlemen and ladies go out there and do their job. So, other than that, I always say thank you to our firemen because we couldn't do it without them, and to, of course, our men in blue. I'm always grateful for them too. So, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Committeeman LaRue.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to ask the town, because I know everything that there was a lot Amy had to go over with resolutions tonight for purchasing. And it's all stuff that has been previously brought up in these
That's right.
meetings through the budget. But we need to move with speed because we got to buy all this stuff before the tariffs kick back in.
We're trying. Most of we are obligated to buy American-made, so most of it is American-made.
But all kidding aside, they just announced that the next meeting's got to be moved, so everybody's aware of it. To us, it's getting moved for a very, very important reason. The Ocean County Federation of Republican Women honor somebody every year. And this year, the Woman of the Year happens to be our former mayor, Peggy Sue. So that happened to be the same time as our meeting, so, we all would like to be there in honor of her, so that's why that meeting got pushed back and for no other reason.
Thank you.
Steve brought up the one thing I was going to bring up, is that pier situation out there at Paradise Point. I was actually on the property today because I know we had received some calls because the bulkhead and barge was out there. And like Steve just said, this is the pier, the dock that's being put out there for the mandated public access. And for anybody that is familiar out there, if they're in the audience tonight, myself being quite aware of these waterways in this area, being a boater for almost 60 years here, that pier is in a position where it does not come near the channel. In that branch of the Forked River, it's in the main part of it coming down before it splits off and goes north and south, which once it splits off into that Y, that's when them other properties, that's where the issues start with whether there's piers or not. But this one that's going out now that's mandated by the state is before that. Actually, if you know our waterways and how shallow they are, there's a natural buffer between the channel and that pier, and it's called the bottom. It's very shallow there, so no boat's going to be able to get near that pier, and the channel's very deep there. The other thing I did today, too, was I was down at the township docks, because we've been talking about this for a while. They've been working on them all winter. This is the coldest winter we've had in years. We've had some weather issues, the past rain this past week. They were due to be done the beginning of this month. They're not too far behind schedule, amazingly, even with a few hiccups. They've done a fantastic job. I mean, in my lifetime, it's the best it's ever looked down there. One half of it's done now. The other half will be done, I guess, next year.
In the fall.
In the fall. But give you an idea how close they are. They were just, it's pretty much all the construction's done. They're down to where they're finishing up some of the catwalks and trimming them. Most of the electric's in. They're waiting for some stuff there. A good portion of the water's in, and they got a little bit of paving. So that project is pretty much coming to an end. And when you see it, if you're a boater, it's another project that the town should be quite proud of. The other thing that Steve talked about is there's always issues in towns, little, small, some more personal to somebody than others. And even though we're the governing body, the biggest issue I see right now facing this town is our school budget. Even though we don't have any control over it or say, we need to be quite aware of it. Because no budget equals a $6.6 million deficit. There's no answers of what we could do to help them. And yes, there's different ideas of where you can tweak here and tweak there. But the state under S2 has slowly been cutting a lot of districts' aid, some been getting more. The one thing I've found my few months up here, my years a long time ago on the school board, and even since then, I'm finding one common denominator that gives us everybody probably the most headache, and that word is the state. The state this year, with the size cut that they got and where it's put us, there's no one-time fix. The last couple of years, been a one-time fix. A couple of weeks ago, me and Tim and Veronica had met with the board and liaison. This week, when I got back from vacation, I had the opportunity, I went in and I asked to sit down with the business administrator, superintendent, and the school board president, because this is huge. This is huge. $6 million is no joke. Some districts got more money, some districts got less. It's the same story we all hear, and we've been hearing it for 30-some years. But when you see that the State Department of Education has a policy book, which they don't sometimes share, there's no consistency in it ever, which creates a whole different type of things. Last night, there was a special meeting for the board to approve a tentative budget. Now, they did this, I guess, a month ago, and they approved one. Now, in that tentative budget, they were directed by the county business administrator to put in, it's basically called a plug. It was a land sale is what it was. Now, this was instructed from the county BA to many districts. And it was, the way it planned out, it almost looks like it was a setup. So you put that in, you submit your budget, you approve the tentative, you submit it to them, guess what the first thing they do? They reject it because they know this is not an accurate number. So they pull it. Now they can reject your budget. They don't have no answers for you. They told you to put it in there, but that's what they use to reject your budget. And the one thing nice about last night, it's probably one of the best attended meetings I've seen in a long time. And people on both sides of the aisle, pro, con, whatever, positive, negative, whatever. Very respectful, very informative, and a lot of good questions from everybody. And the state's answer, you gotta remember, the Ocean County business administrator is a state employee, not a county employee. And their bottom line answer to the districts like ours is basically they want you to tax yourself out of it, which nobody's in favor of that because it's a substantial tax. And I only bring this to everybody's attention at this meeting because the word's got to get out there. We got to really work on fighting the state. We haven't had a hell of a lot of success as we've seen. And this is all around Ocean County, a lot of other districts. We're not in this alone. It's just that the numbers vary. I know a lot of times people compare us to Southern Regional. You got to remember, Southern Regional, good school district, just like us, but they got a lot of tuition towns. And what that means is the towns pay to go to their schools. Years ago, we were part of that with Central, but back in the late 70s, early 80s, that changed. And the problem is even last night, because, you know, you look at that. Because they got the whole LBI, they got Ware Town, so they got money coming in. So if they get in trouble, they just raise the tuition. When you're not a regional system, you don't have that opportunity. And even looking at regionalization, which it has some pros and has some cons. The thing is the districts around us really, they would need a good reason to join us as much as them. So you gotta have somebody that wants to. And the most prominent towns to do that are already tied up with Southern Regional. But I just need everybody to be aware of this because Steve said it right. God bless them because this is a toughie. It was 6.2. Last night we got told the actual number is $6.6 million because there was a little change in the piece on the educational side. But that is a huge number, and you're talking over 14% on the school budget of a tax increase. Nobody wants it. They didn't want to do last year's at 9.9. They definitely don't want to do this. But we need to reach out to whoever we can. And that's the end of my comments tonight. Oh, happy Easter.
That's a good
Thank
one.
you. Thank you, sir. I'll sum up, paraphrase a lot of what my colleagues said here tonight, and just raise a warning flag, because I think a lot of what was said here tonight is the state's overreach and wanting control. They see it floundering, difficult school system financially, not really in any other way. And they want to offer help. And for that help, they want control. They want control of the curriculum. They want control of who gets hired. When a builder, like Deputy Mayor Kennis, wants to, build something somewhere, especially on the waterfront, takes a long time to get that permit or a CAFRA permit. Sometimes for a subdivision, it takes 2 years. Another form of control. So the overreach, we talked 14 days ago tonight, right at this time, about the state with that Senate bill wanting control of our planning board. They want multifamily and not single-family homes. They want control. The way they handle this control is through taxes and through laws, and sometimes it's legislated from the bench with liberal judges. And this is a problem, because even if there's as many different folks are in front of me right now or within earshot of my voice or eyeshot of my face on TV, we're going to have different opinions. But the only value you have to Trenton is your wallet and your checkbook for you to write those taxes out. They believe that some bureaucrat in Trenton from a faculty lounge in a college thinks they can think better than you. They want to control you. I believe that. I speak freely because I'm unencumbered. I'm the liaison to the people. I feel very confident. I can debate anyone at any time. It's what I like. I relish that opportunity. And I will tell you, just be aware, because at every corner, this is not a Republican or a Democrat thing. It's not an independent thing. I always say, we have to protect our house. Our house are these zip codes. They want control. And the only thing they want from you is your tax revenue. And it's very, very unfortunate. Now, to address specific concerns of our residents, because that's who we work for, less than 24 hours after our meeting a couple of Thursdays ago, Deputy Mayor Kennis and I, as he had said, we walked Paradise, we walked it down there with Casey Parker. I was assured through research and our staff, our great staff here in Town Hall, that everything has been done the right way. In addition, Senator Amato, less than a day later last week, probably the Friday after the Thursday night meeting, wrote a letter to Commissioner LaTourette of the DEP expressing his concerns. Again, everything to this day has been done the right way down there. We have people that want to lay claim and pay $700,000 to $900,000 or over $1 million for a house. I think they should have that right. I welcome that type of investment in our town. And that's something that will help all of us in our businesses. And they're beautiful lots, they're beautiful homes. So that'll add value. That's a value add to our town. So I will support that. and not impede it. Lastly, on very short notice, last Saturday at 12:30 in the afternoon, I spent about an hour and a half with about 40 residents of that area down there, answering their concerns. I availed my time, and that's my job. I'm not playing the martyr here. They were nice, they were wonderful, they had legit concerns, and I met with them, and I offered them Senator Amato's letter. It wasn't addressed to them, but I wanted them to know. I wanted to prove to them and earn their trust that this is what's being done on your behalf as a township and part of our community. So we did 3 things within 72 hours, so we addressed that the right way. I want to thank everyone, so many departments who were involved in the health fair at the high school last week. I mean, there was outreach from every type of part, not only part of our community, but the county as well. And it helped a lot of our kids, and there were businesses represented there well, and funding pathways for people in need. I want to recognize, it's a dude in the town. His name is Joe DiCarlo. He turns 100 tomorrow. He's one of ours. He's a Navy veteran. And when I went to go meet with him today, I was almost getting teared up. The man, I never, this is living history. On the wall is his gunboat that landed on Normandy Beach. So it was long before I was born. He was a 20-year-old person. I believe it was 1942. He had all the documentation on his wall. Guy's is fresh, spry, chipper, getting around, decent gentleman, respectful. And I said, sir, you don't have to read. I'm nobody. He said, you're the mayor. No, listen, I'm here in awe of you. Guy's 100. I like to think I'm okay, but I'm going to be dead a long time before 100 comes. So thank you, Mr. Joe DiCarlo of Lacey Township, New Jersey, for fighting with us, for fighting for us on Normandy Beach and living. And in that picture on his wall were over 100 other gentlemen and soldiers. He's the only one left. So in total awe of him. I was going to honor him this Saturday at the VFW, but because I know I want and need to be there for our Little League girls and softball, Little League boys and softball girls, I wanted to make the time, so I left early today to meet with Mr. DiCarlo, and it was an unbelievable honor. Lastly, I'll close with our summer camp. We have such high value in our summer camp, our rec department. So I want to talk about one of these items here today on the revenue sheet, because that's what it essentially was tonight, our agenda, we're going from $175 to $200. So Jim and our wonderful recreation staff will take care of a child. Essentially, it's part child care, but there are activities for these kids too. I know because several years ago, my daughter was one of the camp counselors. And I know there's folks on this board who had children before my child was there. So I know the value over there. $200 for about 74, 3 days. If you do the math and then break it down to 8 hours, it's less than $1. So it's a real value add, and I know that the product is good. Now, those kids, each year, we only go up $25 because each year, not only does the cost of the employee go up, but now we have to have training on how to, deal with children that may have special learning challenges. We have to pay a nurse, somebody there that can administer meds or different types of diabetes medications as needed. So it's something we're proud of. It's something we do right, and I believe, I'm not with certainty, but I believe that's the lowest price point in the county. So I'm really proud to offer that to people, and I say I. And that's a mistake. There is no I, there's 5. And there's great township attorneys who I admire and respect and who provides me good counsel. And there's Amy and there's Veronica. And I will say happy birthday to Veronica, and I don't care what she doesn't like it. It's her 23rd birthday. And I'm proud of her, because she's sharp. And I work in my other capacity, and I'll close with this. I work in a professional capacity at the county, and I have occasion to talk to other clerks, administrators, and I will tell you, our administrator is held in such high regard when I'm on the phone with other people as from different municipalities. So this is somebody that works tirelessly, loves Lacey Township, has Lacey Township going through her veins, and there's nothing she doesn't know. I mean, I think I'm a sharp guy. Every time I talk, there's nothing she doesn't know. So thank you for being there.
Thank you, Pete.
And you're good, you're great people, and so is Amy. And I was a little long-winded, but I had to be because it was important. So I'd like to open the floor now for public comment.
Pete, can I just say
Yes,
something,
sir.
something you said?
Yes, sir.
I just, Pete, when he's talking about recreation, as you notice, I like to go back in history a little bit. Of course, I was watching Officer Hutman over there too, who grew up with my daughters at my house. But Pete was just talking about the wonderful recreation programs that we do provide. And, yes, this week's my sister's birthday, and she knows I
about
always
me
wish her
today.
happy birthday. But she
I'm
is.
not a significant number or anything.
But believe it or not, she's one of the products of the early years in her teens. That's when she started with Lacey Township in the recreation department. So talk about somebody that's grown up from the system. She couldn't even drive when she started with Lacey
No, I
Township.
take my bicycle.
And now she's driving the town.
Thanks.
So happy birthday, sis.
Thanks.
And yes, for you that are wondering, she is the older one.
Oh, yeah, don't believe that.
23. Mr. Bransford, welcome.
Good evening, committee, council, and staff. Joe Bransford from Forked River. A couple of meetings ago, I think Amy announced that your preliminary township budget would be $91 on $300,000 of assessed value. Is that still holding?
Yeah,
And when does that final vote take place?
April 24th at 3 p.m.
Great. Bob mentioned last night, we're looking at probably a 14% increase on the school budget. You're going to be at 5.68, so whatever you can do to sharpen your pencil, someone needs to do that. There are differences of opinion. My view is it's going to be that. There's no other money coming our way. And this is a battle with the state. The state's got to solve this problem, but it's not going to be solved for this school budget. So the county, thank God, is zero this year. I haven't seen the library and those subsets, but the county is going to be a 0% increase. But the lion's share of this budget to a taxpayer, we're going to end up paying over 10% increase this year when you put it all together.
The state's happy that you can do that. They're going to take from you and give to other districts. That's exactly what they do. There's no way to sugarcoat it.
So thank you for your efforts. Your budgets have typically been very sensible over the years, and I hope the 5.68 can hold or even be diminished slightly. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments? Yes, sir.
Richard Bidnick, Lacey Citizens for Responsible Government. Two things I want to talk about tonight. One, first of all, we have a serious issue with the school. It's beyond the board's, my opinion, ability to manage, partly because of individuals who sit on that body, and because it's beyond, I think, their wherewithal to deal with the issues that are at hand. Last night, because of the ineptitude that I see or the lack of leadership, I did a presentation where I went on behalf of the taxpayers of Lacey Township, and I asked the teachers union and the staff to give up a 10%, to take a 10% cut in their salary for 1 year so that we could make it through this budget, which would cover the amount that we need to do. Now, Veronica, question I have for you. During the financial crisis, I was told by an employee of the town that some employees actually had to take a 25% cut in their salary. Is that correct?
In 2010, we had an issue with a former CFO and something that she did in the budget, which caused us to have a shortfall. All municipal employees, with the exception of the police, because they're
Right.
exempt from it because they're essential personnel, had to take furlough days. So it was about a 12% cut that all employees had to take, and the preceding contracts were zeros for 3 years.
Okay, very good. So what I was presenting last night was not out of line, asking for a one-time in a crisis, because we are in a serious financial crisis. Bob was there at the meeting. I have to say this, and the people who are here from the audience will back up what I said. The union was disrespectful. They literally laughed at me. I had to call them out and say how disrespectful, and this is what is teaching our children. And I'm sorry to say this, there has to be a public debate, and there needs to be input from the public. And last night's meeting was not that opportunity. We could not really directly ask questions and get answers. This is not the way a government body works during a financial crisis. We want accountability, and there isn't any accountability. Now, you, as our government leaders, need to show some leadership right now. And I'm imploring you to step out of your element, because you didn't do this last year during the 9.9% increase. You did not do this during the referendum. You need to, because a 14.5% tax increase is absolutely impossible. And I mean, you want to have a revolution in Lacey Township? Well, we will have it, if that's the case. And the idea that the people who are benefiting from all of this tax increase are unwilling to go halfway with the taxpayers is really a serious problem. And again, the sense of entitlement. And I really do have a problem with these unions, because that is exactly what we're dealing with. A sense of entitlement, like, screw you. They laughed. They literally laughed when I presented the 10% cut of doing this for 1 year.
Mr. Bidnick,
Yes.
straight up, what would you have us do? They are elected body. Just
You need
What do you want me to do?
let me explain to you what I feel you should do.
Okay.
As our mayor and all of you, you need to sit down, all of you, with that body that is in control and say, you have to get this under control. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You need to represent us as the taxpayers, because the government, look, the school board doesn't feel like it's accountable to anyone. I mean, we come here, I feel like we have some accountability. I hope you understand. We actually have a dialogue with you. There is no dialogue at these meetings. It's like an oligarchy sitting up there saying, we're going to just throw this tax amount on you, and you don't have any say about it. And this cannot continue. And I'm serious about this. We are going to have a serious problem in this town if this is not handled properly. Now, they can do a 3.5% increase, and that is all that I will support. And I'm telling everybody from my group, that's all we will support. They can do that. They can do 2% and 1.5% for their health waiver. Do you realize, I checked out the health plan for the teachers for this coming year. If you're on the family plan, it's $53,000.
We know that.
There are people in this town who do not have any health insurance. And I am speaking for the people who are living below the poverty level, for people who may lose their homes. I mean, we just can't. I need you to really step up to the plate at this time and step out of this element and take a stand. We have to do this, okay? On another hand, my other question is this. A lot of people in this town may not be aware of this. This is the 2024 Form PAS-1, which is to freeze your taxes. We have to do this now. Every single senior that is eligible has to sign up for this. And what I will do, I will literally, if the township will help me with this, any single person in this town who needs this, I will make an appointment with them and I will fill it out for them. Go through, because some people may have difficulty doing this, and I will do it online for them with them present, so that they can get this done. We need to publicize this and let everybody know.
Is there a bullet point page of directions on the first page? If you do have one, we can post it to our website.
It already is posted.
Okay?
And there's
Yeah.
3 programs that are listed in there.
That's
so
correct.
that the residents understand. They combined
The
all
whole-
the programs now.
And
So
you
it is-
don't-
It is somewhat confusing. I
It
will give
is,
you that.
I agree.
Yes.
And also, it is awful. The one thing that's in here that is a little better is that you don't have to come and get the tax collector. I guess they have a database now where they can cover
We
that.
always had the database, so I don't know why they made
Yeah,
that.
now all of a sudden,
that
I
other
agree.
stuff and, you know.
If you don't file a New Jersey tax return, this is where it gets complicated, when you're looking at what figures you're supposed to put in. And this is where I'm concerned for a lot of seniors who may not be on this. I want to help them. So if you guys can work with me,
I had a thought on that. You should reach out to Heather Scallion, when she has the senior lunches once a month on Friday.
sure,
You should reach out to her. She's over in the recreation building.
Right.
And she's the Municipal Alliance Chair.
right.
She might have you come, it would be a good place for you to come to, because there is a lot of seniors there. Maybe you could help somebody.
Right.
We did have our
know.
tax collector present as well. at one of the senior luncheons, I think, 2 months ago, if I'm not mistaken, and highlighted
Right.
the blue book, as I call it,
Yes.
and the programs that are in there and what they have to do. And she also has offered her help to residents as well by appointment, only to have it filled out.
Right, and that's what I will do.
It's very different from the prior.
Yes, it is. And what I would like is, when you're doing our tax bill, if you could put a page in there, in the mailing, showing what's available, and I would give you my email address and phone number, and for anybody who needs help. Seriously, this is important that we do this, and we help all of our seniors, because I'm very concerned. Look, if the state, what I really think is going to happen is the state is going to come in and take over, and they're talking about 29% increase. So this is really important that we do this, and I want to help everybody if I can. So thank you very much, and I appreciate it, and I'll talk to Veronica about how we can manage this out, if that's okay with you. Thank you very much.
On to Rich for a second.
Sir,
Rich,
Mr. Bitnick, Committeeman Larray.
Yes.
you are right. You know, when I said that last night was what I considered a decent meeting on both sides, but you are right. When you did make them one comment, they were very disrespectful to you, and something should have been said about that.
Yeah, I
From the
agree.
board, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
But for overall, I mean, it was a lot better meeting than I expected. And the one thing I think you are right on also is there's got to be some kind of workshop, because last night's meeting, it was well attended before the thing, but the thing is it's set up as the regular meeting.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was a special one, but it's basically your 5-minute comment, and you cannot go back and forth and ask too many questions, because
Well, there really wasn't
It's,
an opportunity to do that.
right.
It was, you can make your comment, and that was it. Now, I have to tell you, when Mr. Polino was the board president, because I go to all these meetings, when they did the budget presentation, it was very different. We literally were able to sit in the audience and have a dialogue with the entire school board, which is the way this should have been handled last night, especially with something so controversial like this. So I hope the next one that they're going to do, I don't know what presentation that's going to be or what that's going to be like, that they do that, because
Curious, did you ask the,
Okay.
what would be like the superintendent and all of those, if they would take a
it was for everyone. No, it was 10% across the board for every single employee. I'm not pulling out anybody. It's like, you work for the school, you literally all the money, and the 9.9% tax increase last year went for all of them. And so my feeling is, it's now your turn. And you know, last year, I have to say, and I remember talking about this, that was the most awful meeting when they were doing that budget, because a lot of people who were here actually got up and spoke, and they were treated with such disrespect by the teachers. They banged on tables, they screamed and yelled. It was really, really horrible. And quite frankly, and I asked them, can you go halfway with us with that tax increase? Like, you know, we'll do the half, the taxpayers, and you do the other half. No, absolutely not. They have no interest. And they laughed at me last night about this because of the sense of entitlement that they feel that they have. And I'm sorry, I don't care if you worked in a private corporation, if their finances are like this, you don't have a choice. You lose your job, and that's the other thing I said last night. I said, if you people are unreasonable, a lot of you are going to get canned.
Well, there's no reason for any disrespect. You won't find that here.
No.
All right, so what I will tell you, because we answer to you and I answer to you, is I just reached out to Committeeman Larray. We try to have quarterly meetings with our colleagues on the school board. He just met with them.
Right, I
with
know, yeah.
Veronica and Tim, Committeeman McDonald, on March 24th, I believe. So it just happened. To have another meeting right now, I don't know what new we'll find out, but we'll have one soon, and you'll be informed as to when.
Okay, very good. I appreciate that.
All right, that's
Yeah.
going to happen.
That's what I was just saying. Not to reiterate, Sunday was Veronica's birthday, but I got back Sunday. Monday, I found out about this. Tuesday, I was in the board office.
Yes. Monday, I was at the board office myself.
I didn't wait for them to set up a liaison meeting or anything like that because of the urgency of it.
Right.
Because I also found out this happened, and then they're having a meeting, so there was no,
Yeah, it was very quick.
it was very quick.
just,
And I was like, basically, what the hell? And I went in there, and I was in there for like an hour and a half. and had a meeting and pretty much I got to say, everything, for the most part, that was stated in the beginning of the meeting last night is what I had learned, a little more detailed. And yes, in the near future, there'll definitely be another meeting we're going to set up with them, but
We're never not,
It's-
questioning.
I know, but
There's one thing that I will be, I don't need a liaison meeting to talk to them.
No.
And I won't wait for
Right.
one. I didn't talk to any of my fellow committee members before I went in there and said I was going there. I made a request, they honored it, and I showed up because I'm that concerned. Not only as being a former board member, and the times have changed. This stuff that's going on with the state, you got to remember, it's been going on forever, just not to this magnitude. I mean, I've been off the board for 15 years, but back then, we got cuts, 300,000, 400,000. They were manageable. Plus, the system had a surplus back then. Wasn't a lot, might only been 300,000, but it was on the plus side. These numbers have gotten so big that you basically got to have brainstorming sessions, and every idea that's out there has got to be considered and looked at, because Pete stressed on it in his comments, the state is taking so much out of our hands, and you just can't throw your hands up and say, let the chips fall where they fall, because we let them get too much control.
right, and I understand that, but I remember speaking in 2018 at a school board meeting about what we're dealing with happening right now. Now, how is it that I knew, that I was smart enough to know that what is happening right now could have been avoided by planning and actively taking a position, knowing, hey, you don't want to be in a crisis, right? It's the worst to be in a crisis mode because you don't really have any choices, as you know. They're stuck. They chose not to. They basically kicked the can down the road. And I don't feel that the taxpayers in this town should be punished because of a government body that refused to take action to protect its own interests. I mean, this is what we elect people for, right? I'm sorry to say this, but we have somebody on that board who's been on there for 33 years, okay? So there's the history going way back to when the school district actually was good. It was many years ago, and to what we are right now. And also, everybody wants to make excuses all the time about, and this is a big issue with me, about student achievement. Okay, so I checked those scores. They recently came out in the ratings and stuff, and we did very poor. It's getting worse, actually. And I want to know why there are school districts that repeatedly, year after year after year, are doing an excellent job. Those teachers are preparing those students for those tests, and ours are not, and they're failing. And for that, the school's ratings are low, which affects people wanting to move into Lacey Township. It affects all of our property values, but nobody is doing anything about it. And quite frankly, my voice is getting louder. And last night's meeting, I didn't mean to be as aggressive as I was, but when they started laughing at me, I'm sorry. You
So
just,
Rich, I agree with you. And
That's
to close- And to
terrible.
close out the comments, because I think there's other
Yes,
people that
right.
want to, I agree with you, and I will not disparage our schools. I'm a product of education, so I'm not sitting here but for it. But what I say to you is what I mean from the heart. I answer to you, I believe that, and I answer everybody in this audience. But to your point with accountability, what my suggestion was last year, 2024, when I was the school liaison, and I had now deferred to Bob because of his, his time on the
Experience,
school
right.
board. I had said, what you want to do maybe is consider putting something up on your website once a month or at the least once a quarter and talk about what you're doing to improve scores. Communicate with the people. I convened a curriculum committee. I met with counselors. Is there ancillary issues in a home, or is there special needs issues, or is it a learning curve issue? Talk to the teachers. The teachers have the inside baseball in the school. They have the experience. So My suggestion was to put that up there quarterly. I put it up monthly or every 2 weeks. This is what we did to address this. This is what we did to help this along. And I think that would garner a lot of goodwill with the people of the township, and tell the parents this, hey, look, this is the improvements, this is the value add we're trying to make for you. So that's a suggestion that I would provide, but that's as far as I will go, because I respect them as elected officials, and I'm not going to get into their day-to-day. But I would do that. That's a communique that should be there, as we do quarterly with the plant, and we post that information.
But how about, Mr. Mayor
Yes, sir.
and members of the Township Committee, going even further than that? If they come up with some outrageous number, you have to take a stand on behalf of the taxpayers. I don't care if it's another government body. We cannot sit back and just say, like we did with the 9.9% tax increase and the referendum, and say, oh, it's your choice. It isn't our choice. This is 4 or 5 people making a decision that's going to affect all of our households.
Anyone up here can individually speak out.
Well, I'm
but
asking.
I can't stop them.
I'm saying that, but I'm asking you as in a coordinated fashion, and you need to work this out amongst yourselves how you want to deal with it. We need leadership, and the board is lacking leadership. You can go to the meeting and you can look at these people. There's obviously a dysfunctional board working there, and it's not working. And this is all going to come back to haunt us if we don't nip this in the bud. That's all that I'm asking. Please be more proactive, like I am. I mean, I'm really out there. I mean, I appreciate that Bob's come to the last several meetings, because it shows that we have somebody from this body who's actively listening and is there and available.
We've all attended several.
No,
of
I
them over the
understand.
past couple.
But, I mean, but he's been coming, and I mean, he's a face that I can recognize and I talk to after these meetings, and it's important that we have that. Thank you very much
Thank
for your
you.
time.
Thank you.
Mr. Bransford.
Sorry to jump ahead again, but Mr. Bigner, could you hold that form up? Any senior in here should have that package. So I want to talk about that for a moment. I happen to know for the last several decades the senator in charge of the budget. And the third item in that package is senior freeze, which is a tough bogey for most seniors to make. Then there is the anchor program, which is a little easier bogey for you to make. And then there's this new plan called Stay New Jersey, which is also in that package. And it purports to say that if you make under $500,000 a year, the state will give you back, starting in 2026, 50% of up to $13,000. So if you're paying $13,000 in taxes, which most people in Lacey are not, you would get $6,500 back. When I questioned the senator involved, this was made a promise a year ago in January by a lame duck governor, and there's no money to do this program as currently stated. It's part in the way of a sham. So you will read in there that it's subject to the New Jersey state budget, and we'll know on July 1st what that budget is. So
Senior tax freeze is the same thing. While your form might say you can make up to 150,000, when the budget is struck, it usually says you can't make more than 70,000. So you have all these seniors that go through that effort of filling out that form because they're at 149, let's say, or 150, right? And then they don't understand why they didn't get it because the form says this. Well, then you have to explain
Yep.
to them, well, no, because once the budget was struck, you had to make less than 70,000.
So the bogey of 500 for this very generous give back of 50% of our property taxes, up to a maximum of $6,500 in the first year. If it survives at all, it's going to be $250,000 and 30% back. Otherwise, they're totally embarrassed by saying there's no money in the budget to do it, which is also a possibility. So please fill the form in, do it online so you get a confirmation. But don't expect the best of all 3 of those programs to come to fruition the way it's stated. Thank you for listening.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Any other comments this evening?
Seeing none, motion,
Thank you. Tried, Stephen. He tried so hard. Here we go.
Good evening. Name?
Good evening, everyone. Linda Miller, Forked River. I also have been going to the school board meetings, and I was one of the people that was basically verbally attacked at the one where they were pounding on the desks and stomping their feet. My speech was that, well, I've lived in this town since I was 26. I didn't have any children, had one son when I was 36. I always said our town is only as good as our school system. All right, so that was a long time ago. And now our school system just raises a bit above Lakewood. And so I also mentioned that about most people don't have medical insurance with their jobs. And I was told that they have to pay 30% for their medical insurance, which leaves everybody else paying 70% in our taxes. And then I was told, when the next person came to the speaker came up, or teacher said, "You don't care about us, so we don't care about you."
Isn't that nice?
And that's what happened to me. The person apologized to me later, but it was too late to be getting an apology. But my feeling now is our school is pulling our town down. The pie shape, they get the majority of our tax money. And so if they're way on the bottom now, it's like we're funding a sinking ship, and they're pulling our town down. And it just has to stop, because people can't afford to have our taxes raised. So I'm in agreement with Mr. Bidnick very much. I think it's a great idea that it's not so much to ask the teachers to give back 1 year of that raise they got last year, because we don't see where any of that money's going except to keep all the teachers working. So if they could just, say, okay, we'll give our raise back for 1 year, the whole school system, not just the teachers, everyone that works there, it would help us all. It's only a fair thing to ask of them. Thank you.
As somebody
Thank you.
who works in the school system, I just would like to say two things. What your comment was is that, and this is difference of opinions, but your town, you said that your school system's only as good as how you said it was that your.
Town is only as good as your school system.
And I'm going to tell you that my true belief is that your town and your school system are only as good as the parents who parent the children that go to these school systems. And that's where we're really lacking. And I'll tell you, as a person who works there, this is a big, big problem, okay? Whether it's Lacey Township, Barnegat Township, Lakewood, wherever. That is part of our problem. We need to get on our parents and help them support us. Get out, get involved. That's a problem.
I think that's always been a problem.
Well, it wasn't when my kids were in school. We never had that problem. We had parents always involved, always actively involved in doing whatever we had going on. And I think that's where a part of our issues come in, to be very honest with you.
Well, it may be an issue now, but it doesn't, to tell the parents to come out and help or whatever, that is not going to help.
It's not even just about helping, it's about raising
About what?
their children.
Right, raising their children, but we're talking about taxes in our town and
That'll
how
help the
it's.
schools.
But it's a full circle, though. If our parents help raise the children in a better situation, our scores would go up too.
Okay, that may be, but
Full circle.
full circle, and it's the government. I mean, to reach out to the government, we're going nowhere with that. We have to take care of that in our own town.
This isn't a problem that's going to be fixed in no time. Like, Mr. Kennis and I were talking about this earlier. This is a problem that should have been addressed 10 years ago.
Okay, so like I said, I agree with Mr. Bidnick.
Can't be fixed
I
overnight.
think there's a way that this could be at least calmed down for at least a year. Because somebody's got to give here. It can't always just be us. The teachers also, a lot of them live here. It's going to raise their taxes too. So if, I mean, raising the taxes another 14%, it just doesn't make any
No,
sense
of
to
course
me.
it doesn't.
So,
Doesn't make any sense to any of us.
okay, so we need help. We, the people, need help.
Seeing many of us either been products of our system or our kids had the benefit of going through this system when the school system for a long time was the reason that people brought their
Moved here.
families to Lacey
Yes,
Township.
that's why I moved here.
And Ms. Giuliano just said the magic number. It's about 10 years. Because up until 2010, 12, somewhere in there,
It's true.
we were still a really
Top
good
10.
school
We were in
system,
top 10.
financially stable. I don't know the exact year, but I know, but because of different reasons, and there's many,
Right.
we have spiraled downward in the last 10 years. And yes, and to Mr. Bidnick's point, going back to it, you know, I tried to take a hiatus after 2010 when I got off the school board, 35 years of being involved in volunteer things. That only lasted a couple years until I got talked back into getting back involved. But this just happened to be the year, lucky me. But my commitment is, and I really thank the mayor for giving me the opportunity to be on the liaison committee, because I am showing up, I am trying to ask the questions. Not saying I'm getting the answers I want to hear,
None of us are.
but my commitment is, same as everybody else up here. I'm going to be involved. I'm going to try to do as much as we physically can do. And that's all I can commit to. If I had the magic wand to fix this, it
Yeah.
would be nice. I might win the lottery first and then pay off their debt, but,
I don't know if that would be enough.
no, I think it was 72 million last night, so they should do it for a little while. But the one thing you said, that, you know, another year reprieve, we want a reprieve, bottom line.
Right.
The 1 year reprieve has already been the last couple.
Correct.
We've had some one-time fixes, and that's exactly what it is. And that was the one comment I didn't have to make last night, because pretty much the audience covered everything I had wrote down last night. But we got to stop the one-time fixes, because it only gets worse the year after. Because even the 9.9% last year took care of last year's budget. We knew it wasn't going to go down by, anybody with a brain knew the budget wasn't going down by 10% this year. So you knew this year was going to be as bad or worse. And if something's not done, it's just going to, unless, and I don't want anybody to hold their breath, the government steps in and helps us out. And, you know, I do not live on what ifs. What if the government changes? What if this happens? What if that happens? Nothing happens quick, even if it's positive.
Nope.
So all we can do is band together, work together, and hope.
Well, the school board has made some serious mistakes.
Yes, and
Especially
this isn't really, we can only do so much as you keep hearing from up here. We're trying to get involved as much as we can. Like I say, I've only been here a couple months. I'm trying to get involved as much as I can. But we're limited on what we can do. We can throw out suggestions and everything else. Yes, sometimes when we speak to them, they may listen to us a little more, but they don't have to listen to us any more than they have to listen to you. And that was, and I know I stressed this at Mr. Bidnick's meeting a month or so ago when I attended. The most disturbing thing to me this past year, and this was before I even got elected to this board, is this controversy was out there. And I know why people wouldn't want to get involved. But I cannot buy the excuse we got this type of issue, and the incumbents ran unopposed. And the two incumbents that ran last year weren't even like they're on the same page. So we'd think somebody could come up with another candidate. I understand 1,000% why somebody would want to step into the position. But when you're backed up against the wall, you got to start getting people elected that can try to go in the direction that the public wants.
Well, the
And we all
school
got
board
different
did
opinions on
make the
that.
decision last night that they were not going for the 14% increase.
Right.
Everyone but the president voted no to that. So that's a start. But at the same time, we
also a scary
cannot
start.
let this school system pull our town down more, that people don't want to come and live here, or the people that are already here need to leave. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments this evening?
Seeing none, motion to close the floor.
Second?
Move it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2025-158, resolution of the Township of Lacey, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the convening of an executive session in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act to discuss personnel matters, contractual matters, pending anticipated litigation, and matters of real estate.
Move it.
Second, please?
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mrs. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Juliana?
Yes.
Mayor Kurtolo?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn?
Move it.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. No further business.